You know, I remember that. I remember going to football practice, and I would be out there at practice, and my father had a PA system on it back then, and he would sit in the parking lot, and if I wasn't practicing up to his standards, he would get on the PA and let God and everybody know that I wasn't practicing up to his standards. You know, he said, don't ever tell me I can't. He would say the last 4 letters of American spells I can. If you put apostrophe T on it, I'm gonna put my foot in your rear end. So that was that, and he was demanding, but he was awesome.
Hey guys, I'm Matt.
And I'm Jim.
And you're watching The Car Show Guys.
Well, as we do more and more of these videos, we're finding out that most of everybody's stories relate back to family. And which is a good thing, because that's what we want, to bring these stories to you just for that reason.
Yeah, and so in this story, we actually get to meet Jimmie Smith Jr.
Yeah, no relation.
And Jimmie, he inherited this truck, 1976 Ford truck, from his dad when he passed away at a very young age. And so, you know, we get to see the process that Jimmie went through when he was restoring this truck.
As most of us know, you know, it takes time, it takes money to do these renovations or refurbs on our trucks or our cars. And, you know, it took Jimmie quite a few years to get to that point in time in his life that he had the time and the money to do it in memory of his dad. Yeah,
and I got to tell you, Jimmie was a great person to interview. He was, you know, charismatic and ready to talk, and a lot had to do. Jimmie was a teacher, high school teacher. He also was a football coach, and so, you know, you could tell that he really cared about the players that he had. Some of them even ended up going on into the NFL.
So we're not going to hold you in suspense any longer. We're going to let Jimmie tell you the rest of the story.
My father bought it new in 1976. I learned how to drive in it. My brother Tim and my sister Tammy, all of us learned how to drive in this truck, and it's very special. It belonged to our father, and like I said, he passed away in 1989. I held on to it. It's like having my dad here with me. So my dad was a diehard Ford man all of his life. You know, he loved the old 40 Fords. He loved all that, but he was a Ford guy, and he picked this out. He saw this color combination, and he loved this color combination, and he ordered it. When I had it repainted, I had to go back with that because my dad loved that so much. I mean, I changed out a little bit here with the engine. That's a 306 crate engine from Blueprint, and then I changed it to a C6 transmission. The exception of that, the transmission and dual exhaust, it's basically stock. You know, and then of course the old school Kragers that when I was a teenager I wanted so bad and couldn't afford, I finally got to afford them and put them on a vehicle. You know, as I told you guys earlier, you know, the original spares on it, and it's never been on the ground, and that you know, I just put an inner tube in it, cleaned it up, and put it back under there just for you know, for that purpose. But these inner fender wells, I bought those from Carpenter, but they're supposed to be galvanized, and they came black. So I had these blasted, powder coated, silver, and then clear to make it look like I think there's one setting over there like the galvanized to make it match up. Like I said, it was built in honor of my father, Jimmie A. Smith Sr., and like I said, I couldn't be more proud. My dad was the most amazing man I've ever known. I mean, he went in the Army when he was 14. He got caught running a moonshine still for the 3rd time in Cott County, and the judge changed the date of birth in the family Bible and sent him off to the Army. You know, so my dad was World War II, Korea, Vietnam, hardcore military man through and through. You know, I used to say that the 5 cardinal sins in our house were yeah, okay, just a second, and wait a minute. Yes, sir, no, sir, proceeding, sir. And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Dad was, he was the old, you know, the old sergeant, and that was the way he operated. But you know, on top of that, he was a great man. Just the best dad a kid could ever ask for. And you know, I miss him terribly 33 years later, but I still, you know, I wanted to do this. And my sister can't look at it without getting tears in her eyes because she just, you know, remembers Dad. But special man. The biggest thing is Dad and I went to several NASCAR races together in this truck, and my dad was a huge David Pearson fan. That's why the license plate on the front of the truck's up here. And one of the races we went to, we bought this pillow, and I still hold on to that kind of thing. But you know, I remember that. I remember going to football practice, and I would be out there at practice, and my father had a PA system on it back then, and he would sit in the parking lot. And if I wasn't practicing up to his standards, he would get on the PA and let God and everybody know that I wasn't practicing up to his standards. You know, he said, don't ever tell me I can't. He would say the last 4 letters of American spells I can. If you put apostrophe T on it, I'm gonna put my foot in your rear end. So that was Dad, and he was demanding, but he was awesome. I sure miss him. This show last year was the first time I've had it in a show. I finished it literally 3 days before the show last year, and then was able to contact Joe, and there was a cancellation inside, and I was able to get in here, and I brought it in last year, and I've added in this one, and then a couple of shows at Powell High School. There's a Travis Wegner show there, and then the Cabin Fever show I had it in. So it's been in 4 shows, I guess. Without question, I could have never done this had it not been for my friend Doug Owen. Doug Owen's like a second dad to me. You know, he jokingly calls me his 3rd son, and I grew up in his shop in our neighborhood, and I would go over to his shop, and you know, I remember being a kid over there cleaning bolts and thinking I was just doing the greatest thing in the world. You know, Doug set me under the bottom of a '69 Trino to clean off the bottom of that car, and I was in there using lacquer thinner and all that stuff, and this stuff had sprayed all over me. And I got home, and my mom was like, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" But she called Doug and gave him a hard time. But he's taught me so much. He taught me how to restore a vehicle and how to do it right. You know, there's some people that cut corners. Doug Owen doesn't cut corners, and he does it the right way, and he taught me how to do it. And what I appreciate the most is he didn't say move and I'll do it for you. He told me how to do it. He stood there, he coached me, and he let me do most of it myself. You know, and that's you know, every nut, bolt, and washer on this thing. I mean, there's nothing on it that we didn't touch. One of the special things too is my mother-in-law picked out my interior, and you know, she's a quilter, and she has an eye for colors, and she picked out all the colors, and I teased her, and I said, "You've picked out this houndstooth. That's a Chevrolet thing." And I said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I just tell everybody, you know, all these people that put the Chevrolet engines in the Ford vehicle, well, I have put this Chevrolet color inside of my truck to give it class." You know, and the Chevrolet, it's no, but in the Ford it looks okay. But no, I've enjoyed this so much, and it's just, it makes me remember my dad, and like I said, and I've never known a better man. Sure miss him.
So what a great story. I really appreciated the way that Jimmie brought everything back. Every little thing that he had on that truck was in memory of his father in some way.
Yeah, and he tied back to, you know, to football, to NASCAR. I mean, there's a lot of memories in a very short period of time there with his dad.
Yeah, and you can also tell, like you said, it was a family affair. Mom picked, you know, stepmom picked out the seat patterns, and sister, you know, is invested in that truck as well. So there are a lot of memories and a lot of things wrapped around that truck for them. And it was a beautiful truck, I will say that.
So we're going to take a little sidetrack away from the F100 show in our next episode. Not that we didn't like the F100 show, because we did, but we do like cars also. And so our next episode is going to, you know, be around one of the local cars.
Yeah, and we're also going to switch things up a little bit because, you know, we want to try to keep things fresh and different. And so we're going to potentially have some different styles of videos that we do, maybe some vlogs or things like that in the future.
Yeah, so we're always looking for your comments. Make sure you hit the subscribe and hit that bell for notifications, and leave comments down below. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, we absolutely will. And we are staying strong at 65 subscribers. So let's see if we can get that up to 75 and see if we can get besides just our family and friends. I mean, Grandma can only hit subscribe so many times. So please make sure that you do hit subscribe and share this as much as you can. And so if we don't see you in the discussion boards,
We'll
see you at the show.